sense. Like on its own, female fronted means literally nothing. Like I wouldn't be telling people anything unless I combine it with like some genre indicators or whatever. Cause yeah, female fronted could mean anything.
What's up, everybody? It's Keefy at ghostcultmag.com. I am welcoming in today Melanie X of Second Shooter. How are you doing?
I'm doing well today. How about you?
I'm pretty great. It's almost the end of the week. Not a bad time in the world. Good year for rock and metal of all stripes, and lots of goings on. You just put out a brand new album, which is very exciting. It's been out about a month as we record this. This will probably run sometime later in the spring. Fury Made Flesh is out now. It seems like it's getting a nice buzz from fans and other places. But before we jump into that, if you like, tell us a little bit about the origin story of the band. How did you all form? And stuff like that.
Sure, yeah. So our drummer Jim and our guitarist Travis have been playing together for about 2 decades. They've been in and out of projects together. And one interesting thing about the origins of Second Shooter is it kind of like the first iteration of it ended when the singer went to prison for murdering his wife, which is like actually horror. Like it's an actually horrific story, but in the abstract, it's like pretty metal. So like we would call my microphone that I inherited from him like the murder mic and stuff. But you know, my apologies to the family of the victim. But in the abstract, like that's a pretty metal way to go. Like for a band to stop. So they had to take a break to like process like the tragedy of it all, and then they got back together, I think in 2016 or 17. And then there was some lineup changes. And then of the other 3 of us in the band, we all joined in 2018. So we reached our final form of the 5 of us in 2018. I found them on Craigslist. They were looking for a vocalist. So I like had never been in a band. I had just started doing vocals like the year before, and I was like, well, I want to like see what it's like to try out for a band, and like I didn't know they would actually choose me. So they definitely like took a risk because I wasn't really very good back then. I was like, okay, but we've all grown together, and I'm so glad they chose me.
That is quite an amazing tale there of the formation of the band. Surely, you know, that's definitely something that's notable. Journalists will take note of that story, and I appreciate you sending a shout out to a victim's family. But it is fun. That is kind of fun. In a way, it's fun. It is very metal sounding.
Yeah, in a metal way, like yeah.
Like black metal bands have been like getting by on that kind of drama forever. So like, why not everybody else? Why not? We don't want to make fun of or profit off the loss of somebody else, but like, yeah, why not? And so what made you want to pick up the microphone and sing? Have you been a music fan all your life and suddenly you got inspired? Was there a particular song or a moment or a vocalist that inspired you that made you want to finally go for it?
Yeah, so like you and all your watchers, your listeners, I'm sure, yeah, music has been always it has always been really, really important to me. I never actually tried like any musical pursuits myself. I was just a listener, and I, always gone to a lot of concerts. And then like 7 years ago, I kind of just like I always kind of thought in the back of my mind that I could do the screaming thing, and I kind of just like tried it, and I was like, oh well, that didn't sound good, but like now I wanna learn. So then I started learning. I think like a month in, I did like 2 months in, I did like a live band karaoke thing. So that was like on an actual stage with like a big, people cheering and stuff. So that was like what got me into like, hey, I might actually like not just want to scream at home, but like actually perform in front of people, because it's always a thrill. It's always a thrill like it was the first time. Less scary than it was that first time, but always just so fun to be on stage and for people to be picking up what you're putting out. Yeah.
Right on, right on. I was a singer in metal bands for many years, and now I only sing at karaoke and in the shower. So when I'm sure no one's listening to myself, probably in the street, hopefully no one thinks I'm crazy. I probably seem like a crazy person. But are there a particular vocalist that inspire you the most that you try to pattern yourself after, or anybody in particular you really look up to?
Yeah, Julie Christmas from she has a lot of post-metal projects. Battle of Mice and her solo stuff are my favorites. I just like love her vocal style because she doesn't stick to singing, she doesn't stick to screaming, she doesn't stick to growling. It's always just like a combination. Like you hand her a track. She did something with Cult of Luna. She sang on one of their albums, and like you'd give her a track and she just vocalizes all over it. Just whatever sounds, she'll whisper, she'll kind of whine. Like it's just so cool. All the different sounds she'll make and how it all adds up to like a really cool product. So that definitely inspires me.
Awesome. We love Julie Christmas here. It goes called Mariner is the record you referred to with
Yeah.
Cult of Luna. And we saw some of those shows live, which was like, they didn't do too many of them, but they did a brief run and it was phenomenal. She has a solo record coming out soon. So
She
be
has
on the
another
lookout
solo
for that.
record. Oh, that's
Yeah.
so good. I
And
love the Bad Wife. So
yeah,
good.
of course. Yeah, that was great. Like, and so her band is insane. It's members of Cult of Luna and Spotlights and stuff like that. It's
I didn't know
insane. Of course, she's so talented. She works with the most talented people. We just started a new podcast together about Julie Christmas right now, and
that.
I don't know. I crack myself up sometimes. But here's something for you I wanted to talk about. I'm not a big, as a journalist, I recognize that like we have lizard brains and a lot of stuff, your publicists have to spoon feed us stuff to use because we can't think for ourselves. We just, most, and I speak for the whole journalistic community. A lot of people are not, they can write a lot about music because they have opinions, but that doesn't make them good at critique. And one of the lazier things that I don't like is female fronted. I don't think I don't like it. I don't think if I was a female, I would not like it.
Mhm.
What are the male fronted bands? Oh, all the rest of them,
Right.
kind of similar to Black History Month. Well, White History Month has been every day since the dawn of
Oh,
time.
the
So
other, yeah.
I'd be pissed. And so just out of curiosity, do you bristle at that notion? Does it not bother you? Most people say it only bothers me. So maybe I'm the woke, dumb one,
Uh,
but I don't know.
It definitely depends on the context. It's not the first word I would use to describe us, but it always, yeah, whatever I'm trying to convey to people. I do sometimes I'll use it in like an email subject or something just to sort of like, hey, like, like kind of signal like my voice might be different, like both figurative and literally. My voice might be something that there might be more intriguing if I want to get somebody's attention. I'll put like female fronted, extreme metal, blah, blah, blah. So they could go either way. It depends. If that's something, if all someone's saying is, oh yeah, that's a metal band with a chick singer, it's like, no, like give me something else. Yeah.
I think you deserve a lot better credit than just your gender, and
Hmm.
I get that it's for some people it's easier, and I also think like maybe for the '90s and the early 2000s, female fronted meant symphonic metal band to a lot of people, like
Right.
Nightwish and Within Temptation and Amaranth and bands like that are still around. And those are wonderful bands that I'm a huge fan of. But
Mhm.
at the I also think OTEP, Holy Moses, Doro. There's so many shades of metal vocalists. Again, Julie Christmas, Karen Crisis. There's so many greats, and we shouldn't limit ourselves to just these things. But that's just me. I have my little. I'll get off my pedestal and my platform and soapbox now.
Yeah. That totally makes sense. Like on its own, female fronted means literally nothing. Like I wouldn't be telling people anything unless I combine it with like some genre indicators or whatever. Cause yeah, female fronted could mean
Yeah.
anything.
I appreciate you. I don't require that you agree with me on anything, but I like that you did. So thank you. Just selfishly, I just give myself a little private pat on the back. And but yeah, Fury Made Flesh is killer. It's such a fun record, and really shows off the talent of the band. Just out of curiosity, what's like the writing process for the band now? Because like you said, it's been kind of gone through some incarnations. Do they write whole songs and give them to you to put vocals on? Are you part of the writing process? Obviously, now that you've been together quite a while, they clearly write with you in mind, as these songs show.
Yeah, it changes song to song, but I'm generally writing the vocals on top of like a not like complete, but like we have the riffs and the arrangement and like generally what's going on in what part of the song. Usually I write the vocals on top of that. I can't speak as much to the writing process other than usually somebody will come in with like a couple of riffs that they know they want to be like the verse and the chorus, and we'll do some arrangement. Like we try not to have the same structure for everything. But yeah, I'll write the vocals on top of that. Although this album, actually, a lot of the vocal parts were written by my bandmates, like the lyrics and the parts, which was fun because I would kind of go into the studio and just like make it my voice, make it my own. But more so than like on our EPs, which generally I wrote like all of the vocal stuff. So this album's really a mix of that.
Oh, good to know. I could not tell. So now I know. I was going to say, in addition, then when you're working on a track that's not your lyrics and it
Mhm.
may be less personal to you, are you more of a storyteller in that case? How do you assume the role of the storyteller, the point of view of the vocalist at that point
That
from
is a
the lyrics?
great question. Yeah, I definitely try and like put myself in those shoes. The track "Set Adrift" is like the lyrics are partly written by me, but were started by our bassist Jeff, and it was about his divorce. And I was like, he gave me the idea and the lines he come up with, and I was like, I have to like put myself in the shoes of you and your divorce. And I started like asking him some questions, like for some imagery, like what like colors were your decor in your house, and then try to like incorporate that. And then for the performance part, I hope it doesn't like I hope it never comes across like how personal it is, because I try to just like put my everything into all of it, even if it's not personal. But like that is sort of something in mind. Like I wonder if it sounds different when it is actually personal versus me trying to tell the story of somebody else. But
Right on. I think as Taylor Swift has shown us, breakup songs are very successful. There's probably about half the songs in the world, 60% of all music is either about getting into a relationship or how it ended, and
yeah.
some varying levels of terrible. But yeah, sometimes from a tragedy you get a good song. There you go. In terms of other lyrical topics, I can jump around and guess what I think some of the songs are about. But would you say there's some consistent themes that the band talks about?
And yeah, there definitely is. So there is a consistent theme of like powerful women, and not all the songs, like not all of them were written by me. So Bringer of Death the lyrics were written by our bassist. Actually the song generally that was pretty much written and arranged all by him, the main structure and everything. And that's about the Hindu goddess Kali. And that is, a powerful woman, goddess of destruction, many other things. Gold plated pervert is sort of like an angry at rich, influential, like, sexual assaulters, harassers. That was also written by Jeff. And between the EP and this album, like I've definitely written a handful of songs with female power, feminine rage as one of the themes. So that's one thing. Yeah, I definitely try to make it a mix of like literal things, made up stories, true stories, like honestly, just like whatever, like anything can inspire me and inspire some lyrics. So.
Awesome. Sounds like you guys have a really nice collaborative thing going on there with, sort of, again, that direction. Because, it's important, you don't have to have a theme or a bunch of themes to write from, but it's good to have source material and a lot of other people bringing them in. So
Yeah.
that's a good thing to rely on. And then live performance. Our team was really impressed with y'all live. Shout out to Jesse Roberts and Isabel Canagui in Tucson, who covered you guys open for Go Ahead and Die, which is the side band from Max Cavalera and his son Igor Amadeus. Kind of hardcore crossover thrash, sometimes harder than that. What was that show like? And again, I heard really great. Our review was glowing, and they were really came away very impressed.
We were super happy to see that. Yeah, and those were good photos too. I think I've sent them to people with credit, like
You,
publications
thank you
with
very
credit.
much.
But yeah, so that was our first. We did 9 nights, or we did 10 days, 9 shows on that tour. That was the first day. It was our first show outside of the LA area. It was our first show in a strange town. And it was really fun. The venue was really cute. And yeah, I thought it went pretty well for our first tour show ever. And the local
Nice.
openers are cute. They were great. I like the three Ps. They were like, a lot of the local openers are like, I'm like, oh, they're so cute because they're like kids. Like,
I always say, for having been in bands myself for a very long time, and I was a youth playing music and doing performances. I always say, like, judge very slowly, because your younger bands, Trivium infamously started out as teenagers, and a lot of other bands did too. And I'm sure Julie Christmas was a musical prodigy as a child, probably. I'm guessing as a teen. I always say judge slowly if you can, but also it's cool that they got to play on a pretty big show. I know that was kind of a small club and it wasn't like big theater lighting, so like shout out to our team for, they always do a great job, whether it's an arena she also shot Tool the same week. So within a week of that.
Yeah,
So
all over
like
the place.
a big jump in quality and presentation. But yeah, like it was really cool to hear about y'all. So I was into getting together with you and chatting today. And it's like, so what are do you have anything else booked for this spring? Obviously you just put your record out, LA area, a lot of places to play, but do you have a lot of stuff on tap you can promote and talk about?
So far nothing's set in stone. We have a lot of things in the works, but no dates to announce. But yeah, definitely stuff in this area. And then I mean, at some point we would love to tour again. It was so much fun, so different from anything I've ever done in my life. When you were playing, did you also tour?
Yeah, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
fun.
that's good times. Yeah, good for you. I hope it keeps up. I hope we get to see you get out there some more and cover some more dates with you. I always like to end these interviews with a wild card question. I pick one out specially for every single person I talk to, and I think about this for a long time. So I have one for you. I've asked it to other people. It's always either really fun or scary. So we'll see what it comes out with.
Ooh, okay.
You can invite three people to dinner, living, dead, famous, family, whoever in your whole life. Who would you invite and what would you make them?
Ooh, what would I make them too? Hmm. Let's see. I feel like I'm not sure if I feel like I must have been asked this before, but I think always in like a certain context. Like my brain wants to go musicians, but are there other people? I would probably, there's always a temptation to like, let's food poison three horrible people.
Amazing. Oh my God. No one has ever said that before.
No,
Let's invite
okay.
three villainous people and kill them
Yeah.
at dinner. Like some Hannibal Lecter shit. That's great.
Yeah. Feed them, like, I don't know, something that will keep them alive but suffering, unable to talk. Let's see. So I feel like with musicians, I always like don't know what to talk about, which is weird because I do music also. So even if they're like really important musicians to me, I'd be like, well, what do I say beyond like, hey, this album changed my life? I would like to have like three different like philosophers from different stages and just kind of like different eras, like probably like Wittgenstein from the early 1900s and like see, between one of the ancient Greeks, let's say Plato, and then who else do I like? Oh, I really like Kripke, but that's like the same era. Who's somebody like in between? Who's like any time between ancient times and now? Um, some philosopher that
I'm not religious, but I like Immanuel Kant because he was the questioner, right? He picked apart a lot of things. So I like
that's a
it's a
really
good
good one.
one. Yeah,
Okay, I would choose.
psychologize.
Yeah, okay, that's a really good one. Yeah, I would choose, Kant, let's go Kripke, and, ooh, recurring. I only know, like, the 1900s. Okay, let's go I already forget which ancient I chose. Let's go Plato, Kant, and Kripke, and I would just, like, shut up. Even if I thought I had something insightful to say, I would not embarrass myself. I would just, like, be like, "Hey, tell me about, like, do you think the mind is separate from the brain?" And just like go and just listen to them and bite my tongue if I thought I had some counter argument or something insightful because they would laugh at me. Yeah, and just maybe like steer the conversation and let them go and let them do and say whatever.
Nice. And
That's inspired
we don't
dualism.
since we don't want to kill them,
Yeah.
since they are important to humanity, what would you make for them? What would you
Oh,
serve them?
right. Yeah, something that is not poison for these ones. Let's see. So there's only a couple things I'm really good at cooking. My mom's side of the family is Jewish, so she taught me to make this really good slow cooker beef brisket. I don't know historically if any of these people were vegetarians, but I'd be like, you know what, like you can just argue about the philosophy of that. Just eat the like carrots and potatoes and stuff. I don't know. So I would make them my brisket, slow cooked brisket.
Brisket is fantastic.
Yeah.
Good call on all of that. Melanie X, really cool meeting you and talking to you about Second Shooter. Best of luck with everything in the band. And again, if you get up the coast to San Francisco, we'll chop it up in person and say hey. And
Oh,
if you get around the rest of the country, we're all over the place. So I'm sure we'll catch up to you at another show or a festival soon.
awesome. It was great talking to you.
Thanks so much for hanging with Ghost Cult. We'll see you soon. Take care.
Thank you so much. Bye.